The distant cry of a crow echoes. The camera slowly zooms into the forest. This is no... Suddenly, headlights appear. A car and two heavy bikes roll into frame. But tonight, 6 young explorers dare to step into the darkness, with cameras in hand, seeking only an adventure. The car door opens. Ahmed, holding a video camera, steps out with a confident smile. Ahmed, excited, recording himself. Here we are, guys. The infamous haunted forest. They say nobody... like the air is heavy. Aisha, trying to hide fear. Don't worry, Fatima. We've got cameras, lights, and 3 brave boys to protect us. Noor, holding another camera, looks directly into her mirror. Noor. If the stories are true, then this recording might be the only proof of what lies inside these woods. The group gathers near the car, the forest looming behind them. The sound of the wind grows stronger. It's just an adventure, but soon they will discover it is something far darker. The camera fades. The group begins walking along a broken path into the forest. The sound of crickets fills the air. Camera lights flicker slightly as the thick branches cover the moon. At first, it seems like nothing more than a harmless adventure. Laughter, jokes, and curiosity guiding their steps. But with every move deeper into the forest, the shadows grow darker, and the silence. Ahmed holds his camera, recording the group as they move. Day 1. Haunted forest exploration. So far, so good, though Fatima looks like she's all... Balal, mocking Ghost. Welcome to the cursed forest. Enter if you dare. Everyone laughs except Noor, who suddenly stops walking. She listens carefully. Wait, did you hear that? The group pauses. The forest goes unnaturally quiet. Even the insects stop chirping. Zain, it's nothing. Just stay close and keep moving. They continue walking. Same moment, the car radio switches on. Faint whispers in an unknown language coming through the static. Fatima, what is that sound? I don't understand. Ahmed, nervous but trying to smile for the camera. Maybe. Noor steps closer to the wall, tracing her fingers over the symbols. Noor, translating slowly, cursed, forbidden, never return. Fatima, I told you. Ahmed swings the camera toward the doorway, but there's nothing here. Zain, stay won't it start? He turns the ignition again and again, but the car only makes flickering sounds. The bike headlights flicker, then both engines die. Fatima, we're trapped. It doesn't want us to leave. Zain grips her shoulder, peeking behind a tree. Its mouth stretched unnaturally wide before vanishing into the forest. Ayesha. Did you see that? Tell me you saw that. Staring at his camera. I recorded it. I swear I did. The forest grows louder. Distant whispers, branches snapping, and faint whispers surrounding. The group huddles together, flashlights darting in every direction. Noor, shaking. It's all around us. It's watching us from everywhere. Suddenly, Zain's flashlight goes out. In the darkness, the sound of dragging footsteps grows louder. A cold wind blows, almost pushing the group back. Balal, just run! They sprint through the trees. The camera shakes violently as Ahmed films while running. Branches scratch their faces, their breathing loud and distant. Suddenly, a scream. The camera swings back. Zain is gone. His flashlight lies broken on the ground, flickering. Zain! Zain! Where are you? Only the sound of his scream echoes in the distance. Then silence. Narrator, dark heaven. The forest had claimed its first victim, and for the others, this was only the beginning. The group collapses to the ground, terrified, huddling together. The camera zooms into the broken flashlight, its flicker dying out, swallowed by darkness. Screen cuts to black, transitioning into phase 5, forest. Their breaths are heavy, flashlights shaking wildly, beams cutting through the fog. The trees seem endless, twisting, the path changing each time they look around. They thought escape was possible, but in this place, the paths are illusions. The forest decides who leaves and who stays forever. Ahmed stumbles, dropping his camera. As he picks it up, the lens captures something on the ground. Zain's camera, cracked, its red recording light still on. Noor, whisper, that's his camera. Ahmed picks it up and rewinds the footage. On the shaky screen, Zain is seen being dragged backward into the darkness by something with a long, shadowy arms. His screams cut out at the recording end. Fatima. No, this isn't real. He's not gone. A loud cracking sound echoes through. They push through the trees, but when they break through, they find themselves back in the abandoned cabin. The door creaks open slowly, as if waiting. Aisha. No. We've been going in circles. It won't let us leave. The whispers return, louder now, chanting in the same unknown language. The air grows heavy. Fatima collapses to her tree, disappearing with a scream. The others run, cameras shaking uncontrollably. One by one, the screams of Ayesha and Fatima echo through the woods, then silence. Now only Ahmed and the boys behind. Their cameras flip. Battery warning beeps echo. Ahmed films Noor's terrified face. Ahmed breathing heavily. If anyone finds this, don't come here. Please, don't come here. The camera glitches. A dark, distorted figure lurks behind her. Noor screams. The camera drops to the ground, still recording. For a moment, only the dirt between the leaves is visible. Then a shadowy hand covers the lens. The screen goes black. Silence. Then the narrator's voice returns, low and chill. Narrator final words. This forest has taken many before, and it waits still for the next to dare to enter. The final shot shows the abandoned camera lying in the forest, its red light still dim, recording nothing but endless darkness. Now you have a full... Bilal removes his company. Yeah, or maybe we'll just end up starring in our own horror. Zane kicks down the bike stand, adjusting his jacket. Just remember, we're here to explore, not to act stupid. Stay close. The camera pans to the girl stepping out of the car. Fatima looks around nervously. It feels different, like the air is heavy. Aisha, trying to hide fear. Don't worry, Fatima. We've got cameras, lights, and 3 brave boys to protect us. Noor, holding another camera, looks directly into her lens. Noor. If the stories are true, then this recording might be the only proof of what lies inside these woods. The group gathers near the car, the forest looming behind them. The sound of the wind grows stronger, as if the forest itself is moving. They believe this is just an adventure, but soon they will discover it is something far down. Camera fades. The group begins walking along a broken path in the forest. The Egyptian desert stretched endlessly under a burning sky, golden dunes rolling like leaves frozen in time. The wind carried a dry, mournful whisper, whispering secrets of civilization buried thousands of years ago. Against this desolate backdrop, 6 travelers trudged forward, their shadows long and wavering in the setting sun. They were not ordinary tourists. David walked in front, was now concealed within. Sophia clung beyond imagination. As his fingers traced the lid, the sarcophagus shuddered. Dust burst into the air, the chains rattled. The air grew freezing cold. Mark's camera dropped to his chest as he whispered, "Oh my God, did that thing actually live long?" A deep growl echoed from within the sarcophagus, low, guttural, inhuman. Anna's sketchbook slipped from her hands. Layla whispered, her voice breaking, "He's awake." The chamber fell silent. Only the sound of their frantic breathing filled the air. The massive stone sarcophagus trembled, as if something inside was struggling to escape. Dust cascaded from the ceiling, and the iron chains clanged together, ringing like funeral bells. Imran stepped back, his arrogance altering. It moved by itself. Sophia's voice cracked. "We warned you. The curse is real. This isn't some fairy tale." The torches flickered violently, their flames shrinking to weak, sputtering sparks. Then, darkness. For a moment, they were swallowed whole by pitch black. No sound, no light, only the pounding of 6 terrified hearts. And then the sound came. A slow, rattling breath. Ancient, broken lungs dragging in air for the first time in thousands of years. The sound of dry bandages stretching, tearing. The muffled crack of bone to him like a living cloak. His torch hit the ground, extinguished. The others could only watch as he was dragged backward into the darkness, kicking and clawing. Help me, he shrieked. His voice cut off in a strangled gasp, followed by silence. When they turned, the corridor was empty. Only his camera remained on the floor, cracked and useless. Anna's face drained of colour. He's gone. David's voice broke. We need to keep moving, now. They stumbled deeper into the tomb. Every passage looked the same, yet something felt wrong. The hieroglyphs on the walls, they had changed. Where once they depicted rituals and warnings, now the carvings showed them 6 travelers entering the tomb. And in the final panel, 6 figures kneeling before the pharaoh as he devoured their souls. Layla's breath hitched. It's rewriting itself. We're trapped in his story now. The ground shook. The sound of dragging footsteps echoed behind them. Thud, thud, thud. The mummy was coming. They entered a vast burial chamber. The floor was covered in dozens of canopic jars, each sealed with wax and etched with symbols. The air here was thicker, fouler. The stench of rot and age nearly choked them. Sophia examined one, her hands trembling. These aren't supposed to be here. They're human souls. As if her words awoke them, the jars rattled violently. One shattered, and a black cloud of insects burst out, scarabs, their shells glistening in the dim light. The swarm filled the air, clicking and hissing. Anna screamed as the beetles swarmed her legs, crawling beneath her clothes, biting her flesh. She tore at them desperately, but the more she brushed away, the more appeared. David grabbed her arm and dragged her up onto a ledge of stone. The others scrambled after him, kicking at the swarm. Sophia sobbed, shaking her head. This isn't real. It can't be real. A chilling laugh filled the chamber. The mummy's voice slithered from every shadow. It is real, and none of you will leave. The scarabs suddenly withdrew, vanishing into cracks in the floor. Silence returned, heavier than before. Imran cursed under his breath. I don't care what happens. I'm not dying here. There's got to be treasure, relics, something that can get us out of this. He sprinted across the chamber to a golden amulet resting atop a stone pedestal. Its surface glowed faintly, symbols shifting as if alive. Don't, Layla shouted. That's not treasure. It's his. But Imran ignored her. He snatched the amulet from its place and held it high. This is mine. Do you hear me? Mine. The amulet flared red hot, branding itself into his hand. Imran screamed as smoke rose from his flesh. His body convulsed, twisting unnaturally. Bones snapped one by one. His skin shriveled, cracking like dry parchment. Within seconds, Imran collapsed into a heap of desiccated flesh, still alive, his eyes darting wildly in silent terror, but unable to move. Sophia covered her mouth, choking back vomit. He's been turned into another mummy. The amulet floated back to its pedestal on its own. Now only 4 remained. David, Sophia, Anna, and Layla. The walls shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. The sound of the pharaoh's roar echoed through the chamber, louder, closer. Anna clung to David. We can't fight him. He's unstoppable. Layla's eyes hardened. There has to be a way. My grandmother said, no curse is eternal if you know where to strike. Sophia's voice trembled. And what if she was wrong? The torches around the chamber suddenly flared green again. The shadow of the mummy loomed across the wall, growing taller, more monstrous, until it filled the entire chamber. The pharaoh stepped into the room. His body was no longer skeletal, it was regenerating, flesh knitting itself together with every soul he consumed. His green eyes blazed like molten fire. He raised his hand, and the canopic jars rattled once more. The sound was deafening. David's heart pounded as realization struck him. The jars, just with an unnatural heartbeat, loud and steady, as if the stone itself were alive. Each thud vibrated through their bones, rattling teeth and sending waves of dread through their bodies. The pharaoh loomed before them, a towering abomination of sinew, decayed flesh, and glowing green fire. David's words hung in the stale air. The jars are his power. Sophia's eyes darted to the dozens of canopic jars surrounding them. There are too many. Even if we try, we'll never. A thunderous roar silenced her. The mummy lifted his hand. At once, the jars began to rattle and shake, lids cracking open. A foul stench of rot and blood poured out, filling the chamber with the stench of death. From the first jar, a severed, mummified heart floated upward, still beating with unnatural rhythm. From another spilled a blackened tongue, whispering words in ancient Egyptian. Another split open to release swarms of scarabs, flooding the floor once more. Anna stumbled back, clutching David's arm. This isn't real. This can't be real.
अभी मैं बस आने जाना
The
तो मैं
Pharaoh's hollow
ज़्यादा बात
laughter
करना
filled the
चाहना
chamber, real
कि
enough to consume
बाद
him.
में बात करेंगे
The scarabs surged
फैमिली
forward.
जरा
They poured over the stones like a living river,
मेरी बेगम मैं कहना
clattering and
चाहूँगी
clicking, their mandibles snapping.
कि मेरी
Sophia
ਜਿਹੜੀ
screamed as the
सास
swarm
है
engulfed her
वो
legs. She tried to kick them
डिस्टर्ब
away,
कर
but
रही
the
है
insects crawled higher, sinking sharp jaws into her flesh. She clawed at them, tearing open her own skin in
वो केस
desperation.
होया सी
Blood
कम
splattered the
30 तरीक
stones
का
as
टाइम
scarabs
है
burrowed beneath her skin,
30 तरीक दिन
wriggling under the
आमने सामने
surface.
तरीका पहले पहले
Her
तीन
shrieks
चार
echoed until they turned into
आमने
choking
सामने जाए नहीं
gasps.
जाए
She collapsed, twitching, as hundreds of beetles erupted from her mouth and eye sockets.
अच्छा जी
Anna and
बात
Layla
करें दी
screamed, horrified. David pulled them away. His voice cracked with terror. Don't
तो
look,
उस अदालत
just move.
10-12 केस है
The
गया है
swarm spread, covering Sapphire's
बाकी सारे
lifeless
केस
body
ये है
before
भाई
dragging it into
बुढ़ियां
the
घरों च
shadows.
रहना चाहदियां
Now
ने
only
ते
3 remained.
बंदे रखदे नहीं पे
The Pharaoh stepped
किसी
forward.
ने दूसरी शादी की
With
थी
each
किसी ने
stride,
कोई
sand
ना
burst
कुड़ी
through
में
the
क्या
cracks in the
ये वो
floor. His voice
बुढ़ियां
boomed
हाल
like
कारोबार
thunder.
करने जानी तिन्हां
Your
दा केस
deaths
हुंदा
are
सी
offerings to me. Anna
सोना
clutched
रखनी
David's
है
arm,
रखनी है
sobbing. We can't. He feeds on them, David whispered. The jars contain him, his soul, his essence. If we destroy them, Layla's voice cut in, sharp and steady despite her fear. Then maybe we can end this. The mummy's eyes glowed brighter. He raised his
नहीं
clawed
नहीं
hand,
40
and one of
दे
the
रहा हूँ
jars
बोल दिया
shattered on its own. From within, a ghastly scream filled the chamber as a swirling mass of shadows poured into him. His body
वो फिर
swelled,
उन्हें
his
क्या भी
chest
किसी
heaving with stolen
2
strength,
घंटे
a silhouette against the sky. Its windows glowed faintly, though no one was supposed to be inside. Emily's footsteps echoed in the empty parking lot as she approached the east wing. The door was unlocked. Of course it was. She slipped inside. The halls were alive with whispers. They slithered along the lockers, curling in her ears, her name spoken again and again. Emily, Emily. The exit signs flickered. The floor groaned beneath her shoes. She followed the sound of chanting down the corridor. It grew louder with each step, a low, guttural rhythm that shook her bones. Finally, she reached the classroom. The door stood wide open. Inside, the ritual was in full swing. Desks had been stacked against the walls. A circle of students knelt on the floor, their eyes blank, their mouths moving in unison. At the center was Jake, his face pale, sweat dripping down, his mouth too wide, his hands tipped with shadow that writhed like snakes. In his grip was the carved knife, its blade pulsing faintly as though alive. Emily's breath caught. For a moment, she nearly turned and ran. But then Jake's eyes flickered just for a second toward her, a silent plea. She couldn't leave him. Emily stepped into the room. "Let him go," she shouted, her voice cracking but strong enough to break the chant. The students faltered, their voices stuttering. Mr. Grayson turned. His face settled back into its calm human mask, though his eyes burned with something ancient. "Emily," he said softly, "my brightest student, I knew you'd come." Her hand tightened around the matchbox in her pocket. "I'm not your student." Grayson's smile widened. "Oh, but you are. You've been chosen. The others, they're vessels. But you..." He stepped closer, his voice dropping into a guttural. He tilted his head, curious like a predator studying prey. "Do you think that little trinket will save you? Do you think fire will stop me?" His voice slithered into her mind, filling her skull with whispers. The symbols from the board flashed behind her eyes, glowing and spinning. She gasped, clutching her head. "Don't fight it," Grayson murmured. "It's easier if you let me in. You'll see things no human has ever seen. You'll live forever." Emily dropped to her knees, her vision swimming. But then her fingers brushed the cold metal of the locket. She gripped it tightly, forcing herself to whisper, "No." The whispers faltered. Grayson's smile faltered too, just slightly. Emily staggered to her feet, fumbling for the bottles of alcohol. She yanked one open, splashing the liquid across the floor, the desks, the circle of symbols. The smell of ethanol filled the air. Grayson's expression darkened. His calm melted into something monstrous. His jaw unhinged wider than humanly possible, shadows writhing from his mouth like smoke. Foolish child. Emily struck a match. The flame flickered weakly in the stale air. For a moment she thought it would die. Then she whispered, her voice shaking but fierce. "Class dismissed." She dropped the match. The fire roared to life, racing across the alcohol, devouring the symbols on the floor. The students screamed as the glow snapped away from their eyes, collapsing to the ground in confusion. Jake gasped, his chest heaving as if waking from a nightmare. Grayson shrieked. His form twisted, shadows tearing from his body in long, ragged strips. His skin bubbled and split, his face melting into a hollow skull. The calm mask was gone. What remained was a creature